In 2002, at the World Cup, Brazil were absolutely castigated by the media, by the president at the time, by the whole country, because they were having a great deal of difficulty in qualifying. And then they brought in Gene Hackman, actually, a bloke by the name of Luis Felipe Scolari, to take over the reins of the squad. And this was a guy that came from a tough part of Brazil. Grêmio place Porto Alegre, where Grêmio Football Club play, kind of known as a gritty, hard-nosed, tough guy area of Brazil. And they played, and he changed the whole nature of the team to gritty, hard-nosed, tough guy football. And he was absolutely lambasted by everybody in Brazil. Welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer, Nick Eber and Nick Webster with you. Before we get to tomorrow's picks, a last thought about Brazil, and I'll throw it over to Nick here in a minute. Scolari's tactics paid off big for Brazil that year. Yet somehow Brazil seems to be stuck forever in the era of Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game. No matter who's on the squad, no matter what styles of football are prevalent across the world, they always seem to want to go back to the same type of football, which works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. It depends. It's like applying World War I trench tactics to a war of mobility now. Nick, are Brazil a prisoner to their own reputation?
Well, yes, in some respects they are, Nick, because we've discussed this many times on the show. You know, there's a certain national identity that you have, and countries seem to bring that to the football pitch. You know, the Uruguayans, they're scrappy, they'll fight for anything. England, it's that never say die attitude. The Spanish, the bullfighters, they want to bore you to death, tiki-taka you to death. And then, of course, the Brazilians, they want to play this beautiful football. You mentioned 2002, Big Phil Scolari. An interesting character for sure. You know, what he did have in that 2002 was a certain threesome, namely Ronaldo,
Fat Ronnie,
Rivaldo, and Rolandinho. And, you know, three wonderful players that really came through in every single game that Big Phil needed them to. But yes, since 2002, really haven't made a big run. Yes, they got to the semi-finals last time out, but that was in their own country. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you, Nick. I think that they are prisoners of their culture, and I think that's a very hard thing to change. You know, I'm going to go back even further. I remember 1974, just about, and this was the Brazil after 1970, which is considered the finest international side ever. In 74, they went completely away from Jogo Bonito and they became European thugs, and it was all about the physicality of the game, and they didn't do very well. And I think they said to themselves at that point, from there on, no, we're going to play to what our culture demands. And that is why Brazil will have great games. That's why Brazil are loved the world over. But that's probably why Brazil won't win a World Cup again in our lifetimes unless all the stars align perfectly for them.